Good afternoon. It is July 29th, 2022, and I'm starting with the daily chart again. Again, I think this would explain all the buying because if we're looking at it like this downtrend since December, then we have an overshoot, and that's just led to a break. And I think if we get a measured leg of this leg, if we get a measured leg up, that could lead to a break. However, if prices or if the trend line is drawn here off the high from December, um, then we've already had a break and we've had two legs to a new low, and could just be a reversal. So uh, we'll have to wait and see, but that's how I'm looking at it. Let's go over to the daily chart, get rid of this, and it was a nice move up again today. So we had the overnight highs, and then we had this low shortly after the open. I forget why I like that. I think because this touches here. I think that's why I figured that was probably the lows for the day. And then you can see we had this spike and channel up. And that was first break out of the range, so it failed. A couple legs down to the midline, and that's where it bounced. And this is it's kind of like a spike and channel up, but you can start the lows from the bottom. So I don't know if that technically is a spike and channel, but a lot of good trades in there. So let's take a look at this. Maybe I missed something early on, but I think I analyzed this pretty well. So 8 a.m.'s in here. Oh wow, there's decent amount of price action this morning. So let's take a look at this. 8 a.m. comes somewhere in this congestion. This is congestive. I don't think you want to take that short right there into this level of support, because you could if you're looking at it as a failure, but I'm not too crazy about that. And all this is too far from the EMA. And I could have swore that this one broke lower earlier, but I didn't like this second entry setup. Maybe I'm thinking of something else, but I couldn't take this because it looked like one leg up, because it does look like one leg up, but it's not a second entry anyway because it doesn't break lower here. So anyway, we get a break of this channel down, one leg, two legs down to a new low. I don't see any entries I like in here. This is a second entry long, but with all that congestion, you're right at the EMA. I think that's too aggressive and too risky. When we get this leg down to a new low and we get a break here, I say you wait on a reversal. This looked like it had the feel of a reversal when we bounced right at that closing price from yesterday. We had a break of this channel down and two legs down to a new low. So I think if you see all that and you're feeling aggressive, unfortunately, this is just the first entry, but that was very tempting. Very tempting. So maybe you take that. You can see a lot of people did like that, and they rode that up, and that formed a spike in channel. And this was a really good move up. So I think we get a break, we get a move to a new high, and you get this first entry, second entry. I like that good enough. Even though this is congestive, it's near the lows. I like that good enough. I pulled the trigger there. It's a second entry. So I think you can take that one. It's near the EMA. It's not right at the EMA, so it's not perfect, but I think it's good enough, especially after that really strong move up. Then you can see we're just kind of chopping around with an upward bias. But then we come up here and you get a first entry, second entry again. I think this one's good. I just don't like that. Looks like matching lows. We made a lower low from here, and this is it's chopping around with an upward bias. It's a range with an upward bias, and we just tested the highs. So that's why I was a little hesitant and marked as green. But I mean, you could have your channel drawn like that, and that's confirming that channel. Actually, confirmation will come right there. So I don't think you want to take this high or low. You're going into the highs of the day. But then we get some really good upward movement, and this is like a hidden second entry here. It kind of looks like we have one leg down, but if you draw the trend line, it looks like you get a break and a move to a new low, or at least a matching new low. Yeah, matching low. So to me, this looks like a second entry. So I like that. It doesn't get you 2 points. I think it gets you 7 ticks, or maybe it was 8 ticks. So you got to watch that. A lot of people are saying you want to watch the ATR and do half of that. So what's that? What is that? 1475. Oh yeah, so that gets you 7 ticks, right? So ATR was I think it was like 2.33 at this point. So that's points. That's 9 ticks. So yeah, you probably want to go for 1 point or 5 ticks maybe. So then we're chopping around, and prices are moving off of this trend channel, this spiking channel. And so I'm not too sure why I marked this one, because it's not a failure. First entry. Oh yeah, it is. Okay, so technically that's a first failed second entry short. It just doesn't really look like it. That's why I marked it green. But a lot of people did like that, and yeah, gets you a new high. You can see we come up short of the highs of the channel, and they probably tracked a bunch of longs right here before taking it a little higher. We fail to make a new high, and the floor falls out, and you get a first entry failed second entry long. I think good chart readers can take this trade. I wouldn't want myself to take this trade. That doesn't mean I wouldn't take it in real time. I just don't think I'm realizing that I don't understand failures as much as I should to take them. So this is a failure. So if you see it and you know what you're doing, I think you can take that. We come down here, and you get a first entry, second entry. I just don't like that this didn't touch the EMA, and you're going into these lows. So, and there's a doji right here. So I'm not crazy about this entry, but it is second entry short. And we're just chopping around. You get that 2 legs to a new low. And then we come up here and you get a first entry, second entry. You might take that one, but with that doji right there, that's a tough call. But that a lot of people did like that, and that gets you a really nice leg down. But if you're patient, so this is clearly a range, and we bounce off the midline. You get a first entry, second entry. I like the look of that second entry off the EMA. And there's room to this midline to scalp out. So 96.50, yeah. So, but we make a double bottom at the midline, and prices just rocket up. And you come up here and you get this second entry. After that nice leg up, you have support from the overnight highs. Just the signal bar is not really good, but it looks like a second entry long to me. So we're just, maybe prices tested this support level right here before bouncing, and then you draw your trend line off of that, and that happens to be the trend line pretty much for the rest of the day. We get a first entry, second entry right here at that level of resistance. You might risk that. Pretty nice area, but you can see there's some rejection in here, and then it just slows down. And I think maybe what happened is, well, I don't want to speculate too much, but this is a pretty good setup for a second entry short. But I think what probably happened is that there were just so many buyers that a lot of the shorts just eventually exited. Come here, you get a second entry, but it's not a good setup, and then the signal bar is no good. Come up here. This looks like a range. Probably formed right here, but probably has something to do with this price level. So, no setups in here. We break out to the low side. Okay, so this is a counter trend break lower. Even though we formed this range in this correction, and you can see that it looks like kind of like it looks like two legs of correction right there. Came up short. Even though we formed this, the bias is up. And so when we have this counter trend break lower and it confirms that trend line, you might take that. You might want to take that. And that gets a really nice move up. And you get a first entry, second entry off the EMA. This trade has been working. This is the third time it's worked today. So I like that. It's like a repeat pattern. You get a failure right here. I just don't like how far that is from the EMA. But if you're patient, you can see it hits that price level, tests it once. Really, you could argue that you get it tested again right there. But that's a double test and what looks like a second entry long to me. So I like that. I like that one very much. And same thing up here. You hit that price level, test it once, test it twice, actually test it a third time right here. And it's a second entry long. I like that. You know at this point that this is a runaway uptrend. So we're moving higher. And this is a range. So not too crazy about this one, but it is a second entry long. And it's actually a failure too. It's a little congested though, but it's a second entry long. And we're in an uptrend. You might take that. It feels and looks like it's late in the trend. So, and here we have second entry long and another second entry long. But again, it felt and looks like it's late in the trend when you start getting all that congestion and stuff. So that's what I saw for today. So hope everyone had a good day. And I'll be back next week.